What's up, guys? Hope everything's going well. It's Russell again. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Make sure you hit the subscribe button because I upload daily. I do lots of different stock alert services, option services, and investment services, as well as some tips and tricks a bit like this video that I'm doing today. So let's get started. It's scary, but 70% of traders lose nearly all of their money within 6 months. And if you haven't heard this, then I've got news for you. It's a scary stat. It's very unlikely that you're going to become a millionaire from stock trading, but it's totally possible to make a little bit of extra money, sometimes a lot of extra money, with a lot of practice and experience. But so many of people that started last year in 2020 ended up losing all their accounts. And I know a lot of people, I know a lot of traders, and I've had so many different stories over the last 6 months about people that did well initially, thinking that this was easy, maybe made $50,000 on their $30,000 account, and then lost it all. And I think this was one of the driving forces between my friend Jesse and I, where we decided to put together a course about how to not blow up your account. This is a course on Teachable. It is about 25 hours of us basically just giving you the complete lowdown of how we blew up our accounts in the early days. I think between us we have about 12 years of trading experience, and we go through step by step all the different things that come into it. It's very psychology based, there's not so much basics of trading or anything like that. It really covers more of the fundamentals about the psychology, about controlling your emotions and things like that. For example, my number one problem was I was a bag holder, so I got too confident in the beginning, and I basically made a lot of money quickly, and then I just held on to things and hoped that they would go back up, and lost all that money again. So just things like that are main experiences. It's better to learn from our mistakes than make all your own mistakes again. So so this is the course. I'll leave a link in the description below. People are loving it and getting lots of good reviews about the course, and just Jesse and I teaching people how to try and keep a grip on these losses. So there's a bunch of bonuses as well, including a $100 credit towards joining Sidekick Traders for a month, and how to get free option alerts, and a couple other cool bonuses that we've thrown in there. The idea is to provide just a ton of value and to help people from blowing up their accounts if possible. In these courses there's always some golden nuggets. Not saying this course is something that'll just completely revolutionize your life, but if you can just get a few golden nuggets and save yourself a few $1,000s in lost trading money, then this course would be worth its weight in gold. So yeah, don't let the common mistakes destroy your account, like 90% of traders do. Anyway, let's get on with this little mini overview of the mistakes that traders make and how to avoid them. So like I said, 70% of traders lose nearly all of their money, and that was a study by the North American Securities Administration back in 1999, which is kind of depressing, although most businesses fail as well, so it's not actually that much different from starting a mom and pop store or something. In fact, you could argue that might actually be worse, right? If you invest $500,000 into a franchise or something from a loan and then lose it all. So it does sound really bad, but if you follow the people that are making money, then you have a much higher chance. And if you just follow some simple rules, you can stop yourself from losing your whole account. I mean, it's ridiculous to me that somebody would lose their entire account. And I'm going to explain why as I go through a couple of these slides. So the number one reason I see that people basically blow up their accounts is they take on way too much risk. They enter trading and they think that they've got to make $1 million a year or something, so they take their accounts and they buy in full positions in the most hyped meme stocks around, and then when it goes against them, they literally just can't accept the risk, and they say, oh well, I'm still in, haven't taken a loss yet, and then the thing comes crashing down, and that's them gone. It can happen in one trade. It's crazy. For example, look at AMC. That was a classic one last year. This thing moved up fast on a whole bunch of hype, went to $20 a share. So the people that got in kind of on the way up here were making bank. So for all the way from $3 all the way up to 21. The problem is these same people, many of them are people that I know, got extremely greedy. So up here, they still thought this was going to $100 or $500 a share. So they bought options calls to try and get the thing. And what happened is they went in so hard that by the time it dropped even down to $6, which is a huge drop even with the stock, their $20,000 worth of options expired, worthless. So they got overconfident, this one, and they took on way too much risk because they got greedy essentially. So the problem is people often get lucky in the beginning, like they'll follow a couple of trades or they'll jump on something and make a few $1,000s, and they'll attribute that to it being easy or their own ability. Oh yeah, they followed a guy on Twitter, but in fact it's often just luck. So taking on too much risk and overconfidence are some of the worst things that I see people doing over and over again. I've lost track of how many people I talk to that have told me this is their story. So these all kind of wrap up together into the emotions, which are obviously one of the most important driving factors in not blowing up your account and in becoming a successful trader. These are hope, greed, fear, and regret. So I went into a bit more detail about them here, and we can just go through one of them at a time. So hope. So at first you're hopeful you make a ton of money, just like the guy you saw on YouTube making millions of dollars. So that drives your behavior, right? So you say to yourself, well, I'm hopeful, I can make all this money. And the problem is that hope makes you do bad trades, right? So, you take big risks. So hope is not a good emotion. It also applies to if you're bag holding, right? So if you're in a trade and you hope it will go back up, really hope isn't a strategy. Hope is just going to end badly. And you have to realize when you're wrong and cut those trades. And it's one of the most important things is to put your ego aside, right? You don't want to be wrong. So your ego tells you, oh, I'm not wrong, it'll still go up, I hope it'll go back up. Then it doesn't, and then you end up selling for a huge loss and losing most of your capital. So hope is definitely a horrendous emotion to have when it comes to trading. Greed is just as bad. So greedy again results in a similar thing, right? Where you think, oh, it'll go up a bit more, I'll just hold a bit longer. And then you immediately lose all your profits and go into the red. So again, greedy is just as bad as hoping that things will recover. Fear is a killer as well. So again, if you are fearful that you'll miss out on the profits, you'll hold too long. So hope and greed kind of tie into that as well. And if you cut the profit too quickly because you're fearful that you'll lose the profit, then you end up not being a profitable trader overall because you cut your wins too small because of fear, and you let your losers go down, maybe because of hope. So you can see how these things start playing into each other and become this nightmare losing scenario. So, and it's not our fault. Like, everyday human beings and society has taught us the exact opposite of what you need to actually be good at as a trader. So every instinct we have has to be overcome in order to beat these emotions so that you can trade profitably. And it sounds easy, but it's extremely difficult, and it often takes people years to master. And then finally we have regret. So, it says this one here, people regret buying a stock, people regret not buying a stock. That's the shoulda, woulda, coulda thing. It really drives you crazy sometimes. If you've been trading long at all, you'll know the feeling of, oh, I spotted this stock when it was $1 and I nearly bought it and I didn't, and now it's $1,000 a share or something. So the regret can really drive you crazy. The problem is it leads your behavior to say, well, I bought that one, I found that stock, it was on my watch list, I didn't buy it, it looked exactly the same as this one, that's the only thing I'm going to use as my due diligence, I'm going to go big into this one. And then it's kind of that emotion of regret from the time you missed something is playing into your behavior and driving you to make bad decisions. So the one that you buy into, of course, there's no guarantee that it'll actually do what the one is that you regret not getting into. So therefore you end up going in, you're going big, you think it's going to work out and it goes against you. And then again, all these other emotions start coming into play when you're managing the trade, and you basically just, have a hard time making money. So I hope that's sort of helpful, like this kind of overview of the four emotions. The idea that although the numbers are not, exactly in our favor, we beat odds like this all the time, right? So 70% of traders lose money. I think about 10 or another 10% or 15% break even. And the remaining make a little money, and then the top few percent make a lot of money. So the thing is, though, you have to ask yourself, what are those traders that are making the money doing differently from the majority of traders that lose all their money or break even? And from experience, I can tell you that these four emotions are a huge part of that puzzle. So there's a ton of other stuff that comes into it. For example, your strategy, testing out a strategy, using paper trades to get a strategy dialed in. A whole bunch of things. You have to get this whole picture together before you'll consistently make money trading stocks. Anyway, that's my 2 cents for the day. I think something that's been annoying me a little bit recently is how many people I see quitting trading. It's not too surprising, the market's pulled back a lot. But I think my friend Jesse and I addressed this in our course, How to Not Blow Up Your Trading Account. And I think it should contain at least some stuff that could be useful to help you beat some of the common mistakes. So with that, I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll catch up with you guys later in the week. Thanks.